everybody, I'm Isaiah and welcome back to my topic channel. So if you guys had seen my last video, I showed off, for the most part, my entire video game collection. But I did state that I was not putting the Game Boy games in, because I felt that they deserved their whole other video. And I'm going to show you guys in this video my Game Boy collection. So not gonna do like any fancy, let's get into it. No, we're just gonna jump right in. But first, I did let you guys know that I do have a couple more DS games that I just didn't have like actual cases for yet. But yeah, so I do have, like I said, Guitar Hero on Tour, TMNT 207, to kind of like, I'm still trying to go for like an intro game on every console I own, and I've succeeded and then Mario 64, if it'll focus on the game, not me, Mario 64 DS. But now, let's get into the Game Boy games. So, they've always been in a binder kind of like this, with Game Boy sleeves. I'm going to try to put a link down into the description, because this is just like a big ass white binder and it actually holds all the games. So here we go. Are you guys ready? Yeah, so here are my Game Boy games. So we got original Game Boy, more original Game Boy, get into some Game Boy Color on the next page, and then some Game Boy Advance. So I'm going to kind of walk you guys through all of them. I'm actually going to take the sleeves out and kind of just show you guys a little more. So here's the first sleeve that has a bunch of OG Game Boy games. So I'm going to go through. So on the very top, you got the first three. We got the Super Mario Land series. So I have all three. Super Mario Land, which was my first Game Boy game. Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins, and Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3. All fantastic games. I know this one does not look the best, but anyway, they all still play well, and they're all still in mint somewhat condition. Then on the next one, I got my Ninja Turtle games. So I have all three that were released. However, these two are European ones. I don't know if we ever got them in the States. I think we did, but I just could not find them. And then underneath, we got both of the Power Ranger games. These are my two newest pickups. And then over there, we got DuckTales as well. Woo! I thought I had Donkey Kong 94. I guess I don't. I do have it on the 3DS Virtual Console, and it did just get released on the actual like Game Boy. But yeah, I thought I had it. I guess I don't. I hope I just didn't lose it. But there would have been no, reason to. And then the next thing, I'm gonna get the next sleeve, which is another sleeve of original, Game Boy games. So these ones are actually kind of pretty cool. So here's my next sleeve. So I have, first of all, two of my favorite arcade games, Pac-Man and Tetris. You gotta have Tetris on the Game Boy. It's probably the most common Game Boy game ever. And then you also have, the Animaniacs game, which is good. Then we have Crazy Castle 2, Bugs Bunny. One of my favorites, and I was so glad to pick this up, Dr. Mario. Another favorite, Kirby's Pinball Land. And then this is really cool. So, shout out to Arthur, who ended up giving me all these three Game Boy games. So he gave me Spider-Man, the legendary LJN game that the nerd talked about. But then he gave me two Japanese variants of Dr. Mario and Mario 2. So I was like, oh shit, dude. Like, I was actually really excited, because I did not ever think I'd own Japanese Game Boy games. And if you guys didn't know, the Game Boys are actually all region free. They're not region locked. So you can actually play Game Boy games. If you get a European Game Boy, you can play your US games, vice versa to a Japanese Game Boy. I do want to import a Game Boy Light at some point, because I think that would be really fucking sweet. But now we're going to get into my Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance games. So we got one more Game Boy game, which was Toy Story, 1995. But then we got Toy Story 2 on Game Boy Color. For some reason, a really hard game for me to get. I remember I ordered it, and then it took like 5 months to get to me. when I literally finally got it in the mail, I was like, whoa, I got it. Looney Tunes, one of my first pickups. Rugrats, Miss Pac-Man. But now we got into the clear ones. If you guys want to know the difference between black and colored Game Boy Color games, the black cards can actually be played on the OG Game Boy. I did if you guys want to learn more about like the actual Game Boys and see if they're actually worth picking up, I did do a full-on like video on all the Game Boy models. I'll put it linked down in the description, and I'll put the icon up here if you guys want to see the thumbnail. I should be able to tag it up here as well, but definitely link in the description down below if you do want to check out my Game Boy video. I highly recommend that. But yeah, so then I got Super Mario Bros. Deluxe and Disney Magical Textures Challenge. Those are the only two clear games I have so far. I want to start building my Game Boy collection a little more, because a lot of the games are pretty cheap, but some are a little more expensive than usual. But now let's get into one that I really want to grow, the Game Boy Advance. So I have my first two down here, which are Super Mario Kart and Super Mario Advance, which is Super Mario Advance 2. And then on like the last full sleeve, we got Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario Advance 4. I still got to get Advance 2, Super Mario World, and Yoshi's Island Advance 3. Then we have one of my favorite puzzle games, Snood, fun as fuck. Then we got the Ninja Turtle Double Pack, which has Ninja Turtles 1 and 2 that were released on the Game Boy. Then we got another Double Pack, Crash and Spyro Super Pack. This is actually a free game that when I got my Game Boy Advance SP for Christmas, it came with the game. So I was like, oh, that's fucking sick. Then we got Woody Woodpecker, Crazy Castle 5. Got to have a Power Ranger game on the Advance too, so I had Power Rangers Time Force. Fun fact, I actually ended up getting Power Rangers Time Force on the... also ended up getting Power Rangers SPD at one point. However, it didn't work, so the guy let me trade it for a Game Boy Advance video of Kids Next Door, the only GBA video I have. Then I have Spy Kids 3D that my good friend Dylan got me for Christmas one year. Then we got Power Rangers Dino Thunder on the GBA. And then like with the last like full-blown full case, we have a Pac-Man pinball game that I also got from my Cool Retro Games, from an actual convention actually. I got this from a Comic-Con. I actually got this in Dino Thunder at Fan Expo Philadelphia. But yeah, so like again, like this is gonna be like an obviously like shorter video because I kind of just wanted to show you guys throughout it. I am gonna actually tell you guys now my favorite games that I have on each system, which honestly it's not gonna be surprising for the first one. It's Super Mario Land. I love that game. The Game Boy Color, you know, Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, original Super Mario Brothers. Never can go wrong with it. The GBA though, it's Snood. Love the puzzle game, really, really fun. I would definitely recommend trying to pick up any of these guys. But again, if you guys wanted to see another more in-depth one on like the Game Boy consoles, link is down below for my main video where I showed off, you know, the different, you know, variations of the Game Boy, as I have all of the models, you know, and I also have like, you know, I full-blown go into a lot more detail on what is the best one to get. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed my look at the Game Boy games. The collection is still growing. If you guys want me to go back to the old series of showing the Game Boy pickups like I used to back in the OG days of Isaiah Rivers Topics, please let me know. But other than that, thank you guys for watching again. And until I see you guys again, this is Isaiah Rivers Topics, signing off.